What's up, everybody? Welcome to Just a Little Salt, the podcast hosted by me, the Salty Paramedic. If you or anybody you know wants to be on the show, make sure to send a request to justalittle.saltpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the podcast and the work I'm doing for first responders, it's easy. Go on the saltyparamedic.com. Everything there, books, merch, resources, is built around this community. If you're looking for bonus episodes or content you're not going to hear anywhere else, make sure to join the Patreon. Go on patreon.com and search the Salty Paramedic. That support directly helps me keep bringing this content to life. Without further ado, thanks for listening. Here's the show. How's everybody doing today? We got a brand new episode of Just a Little Salt. I'm very, very excited about this one. If you all can, if you're watching this and you're not already following the podcast, wherever you're listening to, please hit the follow button, subscribe, whatever it is, and give it a 5-star rating if you like it. My guest today goes by the name of Trevor Williams. He's a entrepreneur, firefighter, just a bunch of stuff, but we'll get into that. So if you can, tell the audience a little bit about your history and everything.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. Trevor Williams, 36 years old, married, 2 little girls, 2 and 3 years old. I live out here in California in the Los Angeles area in LA County. I'm an LA County firefighter. I've been out here, since I was 15. I grew up as a missionary. I lived in Africa, lived in Haiti. I was born in Virginia, lived in Connecticut for a little bit. So kind of been all over the place. But my roots are now pretty established here in California. And I love my job and career as a fireman. And that's a little blurb about me.
Let me tell you, I went to Los Angeles for the first time a few weeks ago, and I don't see how you do it because I didn't drive. I took Ubers, but the traffic, man, I'm from Kentucky, so I'm not used to that. It is insane. And I can't imagine working there too. Like, I bet y'all see some fire in LA County.
we get all sorts of fire. Palisades fire about a year ago, January 7th. That was major. Definitely the biggest fire I'd ever seen, and burned down entire cities. I think we lost like 7,000 houses or something, all within a few days. Structure fires too. Most of my career has been spent in West Hollywood at Firehouse 8, which is known for its high rise. But we get a lot of apartments, a lot of commercial. And were you able to check out Hollywood a little bit when you visited?
So I meant to go see the stars and everything, but all I really went and got to do was I went to Universal because I made it a mission to go get my kids something. So I got them like a gift from Universal. Like I didn't go in the park. I went into the City Walk or whatever it's called. And I got my kids something. Other than that, I went and tried a few places to eat, but I'll be back there in May. So our plan, I'll bring the whole family then. We're actually going to explore and everything then.
Okay. So Universal has Station 51, and it's part of the tram tour, but it's like a real fire station. So I actually work there quite a bit. At least I used to. I just promoted into a new area and to a new role as a wheelman, engineer, lieutenant, firefighter specialist, whatever you want to call it. But I'm driving now. So I'm in a new area, but I spent lots of time in Universal and the City Walk. We'll get our food there and stuff. But my claim to fame was I was the first tillerman to back a truck into Station 51 because they did a remodel and they had to make sure that the truck fit. And it was kind of weird because your perception, my perception was kind of off because all the walls were white and like there's no gauges or anything. So backing in, I'm like, I hope it fits. But it did. They measured right. But yeah.
That's awesome.
I have some other claim to fames too, but as far as Universal goes.
That's cool. So what made you get into the fire service in the first place?
I think it would have started with my missionary background. We did emergency relief work. My dad worked for World Vision, and World Vision is a large nonprofit organization. They're in almost every country. And people have heard about them through like maybe sponsoring a kid, or that's what most people are familiar with World Vision, but they do everything. They do education and clean water projects, building houses, healthcare, everything. Um, so growing up, I was just kind of, that was it, like helping people in these countries that were just really struggling. When I lived in Africa, we lived in a country called Zaire, um, and it's called Democratic Republic of Congo now. But we were there during the Rwanda genocides. If you've seen Hotel Rwanda, that was going on while we were living there, and Rwanda bordered Zaire, so we were being affected by that war, and it was getting pretty rough. Um, so yeah, just being in like war environments, like doing missionary work, is a little bit more intense. And we eventually had to evacuate to South Africa. And we lived in Johannesburg for about a year to like kind of let things cool off. But it was dangerous there too for like different reasons. They had a lot of gang violence and stuff, and we had these little panic button necklaces we'd wear, and I don't think they'd actually save us, but it was a nice thought at least. But eventually Africa got too rough, and we had to leave altogether. So we spent about 4 years there. And then later, when I was 12, we moved to the island of Haiti. And back then, like nobody had heard about Haiti. People thought it was like Hades, like they thought it was like some made up island or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now people know about Haiti because of the Haiti earthquake. But for your listeners who don't know, Haiti is attached to the Dominican Republic, and together they make up the island of Hispaniola. And they're 565 miles south of Florida in the Caribbean, poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And just like, yeah, just a really tough place to live. When we moved there, it was kind of like a condensed Africa. Like it was just had war going on too, like civil unrest. They were burning tires in the streets, roadblocks. You'd hear gunfire every day. You'd see dead bodies. Like it was a rough place to be. Um, and same thing. My dad was working for World Vision at the time, doing emergency relief work, just helping people out with different projects and rendering aid. So yeah, we were there until I was 15, and we had to evacuate out of there too. It was like
Oh
it
wow.
just started
Yeah.
getting super rough. They were making roadblocks with dead bodies, trying to like block people from getting to the airports and stuff. Um, like most kidnappings per capita in the world, in the city I was living in, so 100 a week. So I had lots of friends who got kidnapped and stuff, and some made it back, some didn't. And yeah, so we evacuated to California. And we had never lived in California before, but there was a World Vision headquarters out here in Monrovia. So that's what drew us to California. And at 15, that's kind of around the time where people are asking you, like, what do you want to do with your life?
Mm-hmm.
And up until that point, I was like, every day, I'm like, today I might die, like I might catch a bullet because of all the environments we've been in. And so I was never able to really think about my future until like I came to the US, caught my breath, and I was like, okay, now what? I gotta start thinking about, I made it through, so now I can start thinking about the rest of my life. And
Yeah.
firefighting was like right along the lines of emergency relief work, helping people, exciting, active. It was just like almost like a no-brainer. But I had to like figure that out for myself. So I joined an Explorer post. Are you familiar with Explorers?
Yeah,
It's
I was
like
actually
kids
one.
who.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
how I got into it.
Um, so for your listeners, Explorers are like guys and girls who want to potentially be firefighters, and they start doing ride-alongs and training at the fire stations. And for LA County, there's a very formal, um, respected program where when I was doing it, I think there were 19 or 20 Explorer posts, and each post had like 20 to 60 kids in
Oh
it,
my
and you meet
gosh.
every week, and you got your uniform, and
We had
there's like
3 in mine.
rules. And yeah, so it's big. Well, LA
Wow.
County is huge. We have
Yeah, yeah,
177
yeah.
stations and 20 2 battalions now, and yeah, it's just there's almost 5,000 firefighters and support staff with the dispatchers and the lifeguards and stuff. So it's
Mm-hmm.
huge. Um, but yeah, so I started doing explorers, and you learn a lot. You learn like your ropes and knots, your SCBAs, your ladders, your hose lays, and you just kind of get better and better. And eventually, an academy comes up for the explorers, and they only pick like the top guys or girls from
Mm-hmm.
every post. So now you're competing with the people in your post to get to go to the Explorer Academy. If you go through and make it through the Explorer Academy, then you get certified and you get to start doing your ride-alongs. So that's how the process is out here. But
Okay.
it's like very at least when I was going through, and this was a while ago, it was like really respected, and we took a lot of pride and just like worked really hard. So it helped kind of form good habits and learn about the job. So eventually I went through an Explorer Academy in 2008, did well, got certified, and then I started doing ride-alongs, and I did as many as I could. And we can usually do 24-hour ride-alongs where you could just spend the night and get up in the middle of the night, go on these calls, and that's part of it, right? You got to know, you can't
Yep.
just go during the day because you want to run these calls when you're tired too, see what it's really like. And I would pick all the busiest station, like you'd call, and try and set up a ride along and schedule it with the captain. And so I'd pick like all these downtown LA stations where their call volume's busy and they get fires and stuff like that. So I did 1,000 hours of ride alongs before I aged out. You can only do it for so long. I think until you're 21, I want to say. And then you're too old. Then you gotta
Yeah.
do something else, or get your
Mm-hmm.
experience elsewhere. Or hopefully, you're hired by that point. But um, I I was testing with 10,000 people. It was super competitive. Took me 7 years to get hired. I put in my app as soon as I turned 18 and
Mm-hmm.
started going through the process. But it was kind of a bad time to get hired. They were doing hiring freezes, and
Yep.
um, they had budget issues and stuff. So I traveled all around the U.S. I applied to 60 different fire departments, all the big cities I could put my app in with, FDNY, bunch of spots in Texas, Washington, Las Vegas, Arizona. Yeah, just everywhere. And I made it my job to get hired. Um, but I got hired with LA County, which was kind of the plan all along. And I
Yeah.
probably tried a little bit harder for that one. And I knew the ins and outs of it a little bit better just from years of being an explorer and learning the job the LA County way. So yeah, I got hired with LA County a little over 10 years ago, and yeah, been with them ever since.
That's awesome. So yeah, we've been on our career departments about the same amount of time. You're a smidge bit older than me, but I'm sure you've made mistakes just as I have. But uh, what would you say is the most common mistakes you see younger firefighters making today?
Hmm, it's a good one. I've seen a culture shift recently where um, guys and girls are not taking the job quite as serious. They're getting hired more easily. The first application they put in, they're getting picked up. They're getting rushed through an academy, and now they've hit the floor. And all they did before, they were like a barista or a
Hmm.
librarian or something. And there's not saying that they've done anything wrong, but the process I'm seeing now is pushing out like a different product than it used to, where I learned every single thing I could about the fire service and the fire department, and like hustled for 7 years to get on, and we're getting people who like don't even know that we work 24-hour shifts, and stuff like that. So um and with that comes a lot of like loose ends, right? Like the respect thing, the fire culture. It seems like um, there's a lot more green coming in where that has to be taught, right? And it's up to the senior firefighters and the guys and girls who've been on the job a long time to kind of instill that culture in them and not just let it slide. Like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, that's the new way, I guess. No, like we have tradition and culture, and you need to learn it our way, to uphold that, because we have 100 years of, tried and pride and tradition in the way that things are, and there's a reason for them, and learning those reasons. So I might not have answered your question, because that's not a mistake, that young
That's
firefighters
an
are
excellent
making.
thing to talk about. Like, I'm glad
Yeah.
you brought that up because it's definitely a problem across the country because I experienced that as well. I feel like there's multiple reasons for it. Like, one, you were talking about how competitive it was when you got hired. And in my experience, in the 10 years I've been on my department, it feels like it goes in waves. Like, every few years there'll be a huge hiring pool. And in that huge hiring pool, we'll get some good candidates. But then a few years later, when we have to scrape the bottom of the barrel, I sound like an old man. Like, those kids we're hiring now, they don't have no respect. Like, when I got hired, I legitimately was terrified to call in sick. Like, I was scared to step out of line. I wanted to constantly prove myself, and now it's like there's a lot of individuals that don't care about the job, like you were saying. So part of it is on those officers and senior members at their station, like you were saying. Part of it is just on those individuals themselves, taking more pride in the job. But I'm definitely glad you brought that up because that eats me alive. And I'm sure
Yeah.
there's all kinds of departments across the country dealing with the same thing.
Yeah, it's a
But
big issue, and then it becomes a safety factor too. If
yes,
you're like so far behind that you start to become a liability if you don't catch up quickly. You need to be sharp. You need to learn it the first time you're told, and there's a million things to learn about this job. So if
oh yeah,
it takes years and years, and I still learn stuff every day. So I guess being eager to learn, like willing to learn and take criticism well, and uh, be humble, right, and not get salty or comfortable too quickly. Um, so yeah, I would say for a young firefighter, like those are the things that um, those are the mistakes that are made. But part of it is on us, right? Like we need to be
hmm
teaching the right way and not just letting
yes,
stuff slide.
yep. When you take into account everything you've done over your career, every part of the job, what's your favorite aspect of the job to this day?
It's got to be the camaraderie. Like there's a lot of different stations you can work at in my department, and they all offer different things.
Hmm.
You can go. I'm boat certified at Marina Del Rey, so I can go work on a boat, and I've done that plenty. There's hazmat stations, USAR stations, ones that are like more specifically geared towards brush fires. There's inner city stations, and then call volume and location and demographics, all that stuff. You can kind of pick and choose like where you want to end up in your career. You can even go work at a desk, if you want,
Hmm.
and or be a drone operator or work on a helicopter, or like there's tons of stuff you can do.
Yeah.
But all that is not very cool if you don't have the right crew. So there's a saying that they say over here, bid the crew, not the station. So when you're picking your spot to work, the right crew can make all the difference and make
Hmm.
going into work just a total blast. Where you don't feel like you're working, you're just having fun with your boys, or with your boys and girls, or whatever. So the camaraderie is huge. I like cigar time. I like sitting around the fire pit or out front smoking a cigar at the end of the day, after all the daily work is done, and we're just waiting for that
Hmm.
next fire, or the next
Oh
call,
yeah.
and that's when the real talk comes out. Sometimes
Hmm.
you get
Yeah.
to have a little bit of those deeper conversations, and that's really important in our career field, with like all the PTSD and mental health stuff going on. Like you need to be having deeper conversations from time to time, and check each other and be looking out for each other, and knowing somebody's kind of going astray, where you can be like, hey dude, like what's up, what's going on, and cigar time is kind of when those conversations happen, from my experience.
Yeah. No, camaraderie. I agree with you absolutely because I've been to some stations that, you're the people don't jive well, and it makes or breaks your 24-hour, 48, however long you're there. It makes or breaks your shift. So that's huge. Is being getting along well with all the guys and girls you work with. We're going to pivot real quick to your product, the Williams Key. Specifically, we're going to start off saying what specific moment led to the idea for the Williams Key.
Okay. Well, let me hold it up in case somebody is watching. That is a Williams Key. This is the standard version. It has a blade side and it has a handle, shove knife, hook side. And then I also make a folding version, and I make a Magnum Triple XL folding version too. So the tool is for opening doors without doing damage. The aha moment with it, I guess, would be my background. Oh, there's a little bit more to my background we didn't talk about yet. So I did commercial construction for a couple years while I was trying to get hired, specifically as a finished carpenter hanging doors. So learned a lot about doors and locks, and I had a bunch of custom tools, and I knew how to pick locks, and I would make tools for myself all the time, and we'd get locked out of stuff and make stuff for that. So at some point I had made a crude version of a Williams key, just for bypassing strikes and stuff. And the real, like, there's different ways to bypass a strike on a lock, but where this really has value is it's able to slip behind an anti-vandal plate, which normally, like, you wouldn't be able to access with like a shove knife or whatnot. So that's like where it's valuable, is like being able to reach behind those plates that are meant to keep people from messing with that strike. So when I got hired, as a new rookie, I kind of had like these secret skills I didn't want to like let on about yet, just because you want to be humble and like not draw a lot of attention to yourself and stuff. So I tried to be good and like not just get into every single door on every single call. But eventually, like, I have like a bag of my wizard kit, my bag of tricks, and had all my little custom tools in there. So eventually I started getting into these doors, especially in West Hollywood. We have a lot of gates, a lot of apartments that have these outward swinging gates and stuff that are perfect for the Williams key. So I was pulling out this version of the Williams key I'd made, and eventually people were like, "Hey man, what is that stupid tool? You want to make me one?" And they never give you a compliment, So I made like I'm making them by hand, and it's taken an hour or two per tool, and eventually like I gave those out and stuff, just trying to help people be better at their craft and get into these stores quicker and save a life. Maybe we don't do it on fires usually, but like somebody's having a heart attack or something, and you want to wait for a key from the building manager. Like, come on, let's get in.
Yep.
So I gave a couple of these tools out, and then that kind of spread. Like at Fire Station 8, there's 39 people. It's one of the biggest houses in LA County, and a lot of people coming and going through there, like working overtime or going out of station, working somewhere else. So people were seeing my tool, and then I'd start getting hit up by everybody, and they're like, "Hey, I want one too." And before I was like just making them for free and helping people, and then I'm like, "Okay, I don't even know you, like." I'll charge you, I'll charge you. So then I had for like a fabrication place and have them start making these tools. And I think my first batch was like 100 keys, and I had them powder coated black so that I could laser engrave the logo in. I made a logo, I made a website, and it kind of turned into a thing. Like I wasn't planning on it. But now I've sold 63,000 of them, every major city in the US, internationally, like at least 30 different countries. So it's really taken off, and it's given me the platform to make other tools too. And so now, when I come out with something, people buy it just out of principle. They're like, yeah, I like the Williams key. Let's see what else this guy just got. So I'll do like wedges, and like I like my logo. It's like a key, key skull thing. Let's see. You can kind of see it right there. So, or It's up there, my there. So I use that. I integrate that logo into a lot of stuff, but sometimes I just come up with like stupid little things. So this is a door hanger, and I include these samples with the folding key. Um, it's I came up with this idea on an airplane one day when I had a few minutes to think, but um, we we go into people's houses without them knowing. Sometimes like their smoke alarms going off, they're not home, and then we break in to like see if there's a fire or turn off their smoke alarm, and then we leave, and they never know,
Yeah.
that we were
Yeah.
there, other than like footprints in their carpet or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they come home, it's unsettling. They think they got broken into. They had no idea, right? So these are to kind of help with that
Mm-hmm.
customer service side of it. We're like, hey, fire department was here. You didn't get broken into. You had an alarm going off.
Mm-hmm.
We fixed it. Everything's good. Sorry, we knocked over your plant or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm always thinking of little, ideas as I come
Mm-hmm.
across problems, and we're problem solvers, right? As firemen. So yeah, I think I'm going to continue to do that as I run into issues. And now I'm in that new role driving, so I'm seeing the job from a whole new perspective, and the
Mm-hmm.
tools I carry have changed, and the way that I look at things, I'm thinking more like the captain now, and from like a supervisor role for my firemen. I'm kind of the mediator between the two, right? As the straw boss, you have to like handle the station, but you're getting input, from the captain, and it's we're doing what the captain wants, but I'm like making sure it happens, right? So that's
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Uh, the Williams key you sent me is on my engine right now, and I was so upset because we had a person. Door was locked, and we got there after the ambulance, and I went to get the Williams key out, and I was walking there, and the ambulance got it open with a dang debit card. I was like, "Gosh, let me use it one time." I almost got to
Yeah,
use it, but it stays on our engine now, and it definitely comes in handy because there's been a lot of times I wish I had it. So um, the Williams key itself, a lot of the questions I had written down, you literally answered with that story and everything. So I'm going to shift into the business side.
okay,
Um, there's probably a lot of people out there because firefighters usually have to have side jobs. Rarely do we only do the fire service because a lot of departments don't pay well. Um, but I kind of stumbled into my own business as well. Even though I just make stupid videos on the internet, I'm running a full fledged website now selling, books and hats and blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm managing it out of my basement. I've got a little
hmm
4x4 square out of my basement. And I never would have thought I would have had my own business. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there watching that, have ideas for things and want to start their own business. So, what would be your biggest advice for those individuals, like things you've learned along the way?
yeah. So a lot of people approach me with like ideas, or like, I think I want to start a business, and I love that. That's great, and I think everybody should. Like, you'll learn a lot about um, kind of a different thing, right? Like, and it's like great tax write off, and you can generate extra income, all this stuff, right? So what I tell most people is take that first step. Come up with your idea. If you don't think it's ready for market, put it out there anyway. The market will tell you, and then you'll get a sale out of generation one of whatever it may be. And then people will be like, oh, it'd be a lot better if you did it this way. Then you make version two, and they'll buy it again. So now that same customer has made two purchases, and you've
Mm-hmm.
doubled, your what you've made. And then it's just a journey, man. Like, you got to ride that wave. If you got something good, um, invest into it, and put in the time, and it could change your life. Like, you never know what the next $1 million idea is, or $1 billion idea. Who knows? Um, as far as like um, what I do and what you do, there are better ways to do it, as you will find out if you get big. Social media like is great for pushing product, and stuff will trend and go viral. So always try and get your stuff in on posts or videos, and share, give some free stuff out to people that are good influencers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's always helpful. And then as you grow, I've found that I got a fulfillment facility that will package for me. Um, and it freed up my time a lot. Like it allowed me, because I was coming home on my days off and all I was doing was packaging. And then now I have kids, right? So I have even
Yeah.
like less time, and I could kind of handle it between me and my wife, like before kids. But now that I have kids, like I want to be a good dad and a good husband
Mm-hmm.
and have time for the family. Um, so, and you can work the price into your products too. So it's like if it costs $1 to fulfill a package from somebody else, just charge an extra $1, and it'll just handle itself. So it'll really free you up to once you get that busy. Um, where if you get to the point where you're like, oh man, like this isn't fun anymore, like I'm just spending all my time packaging, like that's when it's time to consider getting a fulfillment facility. um, and I don't know like where you live, if that's an option, but you could probably send like boxes of product to a fulfillment facility, even out here in California, or whatever's closest to
Yeah.
you that
Yeah. Yeah.
offers the best price. But so that's kind of like a little thing I learned like years later that I was like, oh my gosh, this is game changers. It's not that expensive, and it's handling like all the work that was taking up all my time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other thing is marketing is great, but you got to find out like that secret sauce of like what sells your product, and it's called your return on ad spend. So for every dollar you spend, what are you getting in return? Are you getting $2 back, or are you like not? Are you getting a quarter back? Like they'll the metrics and analytics will tell you. But if you find something that works, pump as much money into it as you can, because it'll just scale you and scale you and scale you. And being able to wash money through a credit card and get points, that could be a whole
Mm-hmm.
nother career on its own. Because if you end up, getting $3,000 worth of points every month, now you're looking at an extra $35,000 a year just in like credit card bonus points, for example. And but scale that too, just like if you find something that works, put as much money into it when it comes to advertising. Um, as long as you're getting a good return on ad spend. So that's my other advice. But once it's not working anymore, shut it off like fast,
Mm-hmm.
because you'll burn through a lot of money quickly
Oh yeah.
once it stops working. So, but ride that wave, man. That's most of the advice I could give. Um, I treat everybody as like a potential customer. I try and be nice to everybody. You never know who you're going to meet. I love to talk shop with everybody. And over the years, like I've made lots and lots and lots of friends in this community, in the small business fire community, and police and influencers and big, not even niche, like big companies now too. And because of how I'm wired, I'm always like, oh, this would be a great idea. Let me call this person and see if we can figure this out. And this could be another business idea. Like, I know
Mm-hmm.
a guy, let me call this guy. So always keep your doors open, right? And always be nice and professional and don't burn bridges. Like, that's the best advice I could probably give to anybody, but especially in this small business fire niche community.
Yeah. 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 You were talking about, the fulfillment and everything. That's something, one day I might look into, because I've talked to a lot of other people, influencers like me, especially when I went down to LA and they have their own managers and stuff. And they're like, you don't have a manager? I'm like, no, my wife's my manager. I've always said that if this gets big enough where me and my wife can handle it, I'm doing too much, because like you said, I have a family as well. I'm not trying to take away all the time from them. So,
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much make nights, after my kids go to bed and everything. Some nights is when I package my product and send it out because I send everything out by myself right now. But it may get to the point where I got to get a fulfillment center. I bet that is a huge weight lifted off,
Yeah.
and maybe
Well,
something I have to check
the
into.
other thing you can do is have stuff drop shipped.
Oh yeah.
You'll spend a little bit more money. I think it'll probably cut out of your profits a little bit because you can order your stickers and you find the
Hmm.
right place to provide your stickers for you, and your margins are great.
Yeah.
But you can have stickers drop shipped too, and it'll just like it's almost like a wash, I guess, when it comes to a fulfillment center versus drop shipping. Like they're gonna
Yeah.
take their
Yeah.
cut, but it is a
Yeah.
way to like really free up your time, and it's kind of risk free. Like it's to order, right? So like
Hmm.
you're not investing in thousands of dollars worth of stickers. But when somebody wants one, they click on your website, it gets made to order, it gets sent to them, and then they send you the profit.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
That's
I do both with my stickers. I have a bunch of stickers, and so the ones that I'm like, this is kind of like a meme sticker thing. Like I don't know how many people are gonna like it or whatever. I'll
yeah.
have those drop shipped. Right, I'm not gonna spend $1,000 on a big order of like a maybe this will hit sticker.
Yeah.
But the ones that I send out, like the one behind me on the wall,
Hmm.
I give a smaller version of that. I sent you one, I'm pretty sure. Um, Smaller version, everybody gets one of those, So those I've ordered probably $50,000 worth of that sticker, over the years, um, and those are not drop shipped. So
Yeah, that's something I started doing early on when I started selling signed copies of all my books. Just because that's my most sold product, I started putting my logo sticker in each book because that's also advertisement. They'll
hmm
grab that free sticker out of the book, they'll put it on their water bottle. Somebody at the station might see it, be like, "Who the hell's that guy?" And look them up. So that's something
yeah.
I've learned along the way, and that's my favorite thing is just you learn something constantly when you have a business. Speaking of that, like how many years has the Williams key been a thing?
um I think like 6 years now.
6.
Yeah,
So along the way, what mistake did you make that taught you the most as far as just your business as a whole?
I've got a crazy story.
Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure this has not happened to anybody else. Um, and I'll try and explain it well, but I got like this fraud scam thing that happened to me,
Hmm.
and I was using Stripe as one of my merchant processing platforms, and I think I just would like write invoices through it every once in a while. Like I wasn't using it very much, um, but some hacker or I think AI had to be involved too. Um, Figured out my like bank account routing number for Stripe, um, to where like they weren't taking money from me; they were sending money to me in 50-cent increments, and they were testing out people's credit card numbers against my bank account to
Ooh.
the tune of almost $100 million. So I got sent almost $100 million in 50-cent increments, and my Williams key and phone number are showing up on people's bank statements as like, what is this, or like getting
Yeah.
flagged as fraud and stuff. So I'm getting phone calls off the hook. Like it broke my phone, like because there's like millions of people calling,
Yeah.
trying to call that number, trying to like the voicemail is full. I had to like say like, hey, you're probably calling because you got this weird charge. It's reported it. It's fraud. Like I don't know what's going on. We're trying to fix it. I
Yeah.
hired somebody to like deal with Stripe for me. I told Stripe to shut it down immediately. They're like, no, we can't. We're like investigating and stuff. Um, and it was happening fast. So yeah, it got up to almost $100 million before it got shut down. And then all these banks wanted to charge me $15 like reinstatement fees,
Yeah.
to turn the 100 million into $3 billion worth of bank reinstatement fee charges. Um, and like I shut down my Stripe account and I was like, you guys need to deal with this. Like this is
Yeah.
clearly not my doing. But it was a huge mess and super stressful. And I never like got any of that money. Like that all had to go back to the people.
Hmm.
It would have been nice to, get a couple percent off of that, but no.
That
um,
is,
just take it and run. No.
yeah,
So nothing ever, like so far, nothing ever came of it. That happened a couple years ago, and I was losing sleep over it, as I'm sure anyone would.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I think it's kind of like inconclusive, and like I was told to like contact the FBI and stuff like that. Like it's like that scale of fraud happening that quick and stuff. So um, I don't know if that's a mistake I made, but that was something I was victim to that I never thought I would be um, part of.
Yeah, that
So
that makes my fraud story seem small. It was like a year and a half ago. My Facebook, which at the time had like over 200,000 followers, it got hacked because somebody sent me an email to be on a podcast, and I thought it was real, and it was fake. And I joined it or went through the steps, and they took control of my Facebook, and I ended up getting my Facebook deleted. I had to start a new one, but billions of dollars of sales to Stripe. That is crazy, man. I cannot imagine. I'm glad you got it all straightened out.
yeah, I think I did. I mean, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
It happened
that's
a few
good.
years
That's
ago,
good.
so fingers crossed.
Yeah. Wow. Um, so you said you're selling these, to departments across the country, correct?
Hmm.
Is that does that take the form of just emails? Do you go to expos and talk to chiefs? Like, how's that all work out?
I've never been to an expo. I have about 20 distributors right now, and they go to expos. So the Fire Store, um, you've heard of them, I'm sure. Like they're a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
distributor of mine. Their parent company is called Whitmer, and they do like the EMS store, the fire store, the police store. Like they have a bunch of big multi-million dollar stores. So they go to the expos. They sell my products. They do really good. Um, Chief Miller, he's one of them,
yeah.
and um, I've got a bunch of others that do. They're like the smaller business ones, but um, yeah, I've never been to Expo, and I would love to go, but my I just don't have the time, and it's been
Yeah,
too
yeah, yeah.
busy for me. Yeah, maybe one day, FDIC and stuff. Like I always
Hmm.
see all my buddies there, but I've never gone, so I see all the videos and stuff, and hopefully I get a booth one of these years.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Um, I get approached a lot, so I don't have to reach out too often to like try and generate contracts and sales. But um, I have like it's not just fire that I'm selling to. So every military branch has reached out. I've sold to three of the SEAL teams. Just sold to SEAL Team One last week. Um, Repo guys, construction guys, janitors, locksmiths. Like a lot of um, what are they called, bounty hunters. Like just it's kind of like a cool niche of types of people that hit me up. Um, People always ask me about like, oh, criminals, buy your tool, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think they'd want to spend money on my tool. They'd either make it themselves or like they're not trying to be
yeah.
nice to doors. They're like they'll use a crowbar or
Exactly.
break a window. Like locks keep honest people honest, so like they're gonna get in if they want to. Um,
Hmm.
and I've never heard a report of like a Williams key was left on scene and this big heist or a murder or whatever. Like it's never been involved with a crime as far as I know. But they come with a disclaimer, obey your local laws and yeah, don't do anything bad with it. Be
Hmm.
responsible, that sort of thing. So,
Uh, well, I know how hard it is when I talk to command staff about wanting to buy something for the department. So, when you're trying to sell something, is it easier to sell to the firefighters themselves or the command staff? Have you found out?
definitely the firefighters themselves. They will. I've never really been able to go pitch a department and have them buy for the whole department. I've never really tried either, but they will approach me if they want like, hey, we want all of our rigs outfitted with Williams keys. But it's way easier to sell to the firefighters first, and then have the department buy it on top of that. Now you're making double the sales. And I don't like, I think there's a conflict of interest if I try to do that with my own department. But tons of people from my department will buy it, for their personal
Yeah.
use, like on the job and stuff. So that's kind of always been my market. It's just individuals.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I was going to mention you. I forgot to ask you. Do you do EMS with your department?
Uh, yes, unfortunately. No, I'm
Okay.
just kidding. I do. I do.
So yeah, you're a paramedic, right? So
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
we we will keep Williams key in the like the BLS box. Sometimes the medic box is too busy in there for anything
Hmm.
extra, but at least our like EMT box, like our orange little box we carry, it fits in there. And then
Hmm.
you always have it on these medical calls. So if you get
Yeah.
stuck at a door, guys would just open up the orange box and like they're able to, if it's outward swinging. Inward swinging, I sell a different product for that.
Hmm.
It's kind of like that debit card thing you're talking about. I call it
Yeah,
the
yeah.
inward door slip knife. It just
Hmm.
wraps around the door jamb, and good way to check if there's a deadbolt, because you
Hmm.
don't know if a deadbolt's engaged or not. And if it isn't, and we found like half the time people don't lock it, then you can keep going down the door at an angle. It's just a thin piece of plastic, and then hit the strike, wiggle it a little bit, and open up that inward swinging door. So a lot of guys will carry both, like the Williams key and that inward door slip knife, or just make one. The first
Hmm.
one I made was out of a smart water bottle on a call. Like, and I cut up a bottle and I opened the door on the call on the spot, and I was like, oh, I should sell these. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then with the folding version, we sell like a Kydex Molly style holster, um, and it's like a nice thing that guys will carry on their turnout pants or like on their belt or something like that. It's 12 inches long, so it's kind of big, but I've always carried one on me, and I go into fires with it, and it's never like bothered me, and it's come into handy
Hmm.
like tons of times where I'm like, ooh, I can get in this door real quick. Just pull it out. I already have it. Good to go.
Oh wow. Yeah. Uh. The I haven't ran into them a lot, but the deadbolts that you need a key to unlock on the inside and the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned deadbolt. This made me think of a story. We had an individual. He was brand new. Like I'm talking probably a few weeks in, and it was a well-being check. And we got him because he was the smallest guy through the window, and he went to go unlock the door, and unfortunately the patient was deceased and been there for a while right next to the front door, and they had that deadbolt, and of course he couldn't open it, and he had never even heard of that before, so he was trying to open the door and he couldn't, and he was freaking out. I felt so bad for that dude. It was
Like stuck
an
stuck with a
insane
dead
call.
body, and
Yeah, he was just like staring, and he was like yelling through the door, "What do I do? What do I do?" I was like, "Go through the garage, go somewhere else. Like,
yeah,
don't just stay in
those
there."
are not legal to have anymore. At least not around here. You need to be able to exit from inside a
It makes
building,
sense. Yes.
like with a single function, and a
Hmm.
key can get removed. So like that's not. If you see those, I usually tell people like you gotta swap that out. Like that's gonna
Yeah,
get
yeah,
you in
yeah.
trouble, and it's yeah, those are bad news.
Uh, when I mean, there's all kinds of fire service businesses out there. What do you think separates the ones that succeed versus the ones that fail?
Hmm. Well, there's definitely like people go to school, business school, right, to like learn
Hmm.
how to do stuff right. Um, and I think like there's some statistic out there like 90% of businesses fail in the first 2 years or something like that. So part of me thinks that's kind of like fake tax write-off businesses, that are
Hmm.
like making that statistic where people are
Yeah.
just kind of like sheltering their money through like failed businesses and stuff on purpose. Um, so I don't think it's as bad as like what the numbers say, but there's definitely like you can't just like go into it having no idea like what you're doing, or if you do, like you got to learn pretty quickly. Um,
Hmm.
I did another one of my jobs before I got on the fire department is I did sales for Google. Uh, it was like Google Street View, but for businesses. So it was called See Inside Virtual Doors, and it was integrated into Google Maps. and I would go cold call these businesses. Like I just walk in, like we'd pick different cities. I was on foot all day long. I'd be going into these businesses and being like, hey, we have our Google photographers. They're going to be in the area next week. I just do the scheduling, and they take street view inside of your business, and then you're more visible on Google Maps. It helps your SEO, search engine optimization, and it's a nice little tour to kind of showcase your shop. There's a one-time setup
Mm-hmm.
fee that pays the photographers, and then after that, that's it. It's free forever. You're on Google. So in doing that, I learned sales because I was never in sales before. I learned what a good business looks like. Like sometimes people are like, "Oh, you're with Google. Oh man, can you help me with my website or whatever?" And so
Yeah,
we'd
yeah.
start talking about like the SEO side of it and what makes a good website, business cards, like the structure of business, right? Like you got your gatekeeper at the front gate, and you're trying to get to the owner or the manager or somebody higher up that makes those the decision maker. So I saw like hundreds of bad businesses, or maybe thousands of bad businesses, where I was like, "Ooh, I would do that different, that different, that different," and that was just me, like never going to school for it, but just from experience and all these like thousands of businesses that I ended up um, talking to and learning about over the course of that sales job. Um, I think that's what became really valuable to me when I started a business, because now I can integrate like graphic design and marketing, and I know what looks good, and I know what I need and what is a waste of money. Um, and then your customer service and learning about sales and learning how to direct conversations in a certain way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that like not everybody gets that experience when you're starting a business. If you haven't gone to business school and you don't know what right looks like, you're going to struggle a little bit. So like watch some videos, read some books, or get some sort of education somewhere so that you don't just fail right off the bat because you didn't know what you're doing, because there's money involved, right? Like you're getting
Yeah.
maybe a business credit card, a business loan, like you're investing in product, or you're investing in the business. So if it doesn't go how you think it's going to go, you're going to lose money. But failure, you can fail 100 times, and then that one thing that doesn't fail can make up for it. So I would say, you never fail until you stop trying. So, I definitely go for it, whatever it may be, for, these new business owners and stuff. But try and do it as educated as you can. And now with like AI and chat GPT, oh my gosh, it's insane. Like the amount of knowledge at our fingertips where you
Yeah.
can write an entire business plan in a couple minutes and get all the resources you need. Like there's no excuse anymore. Like everybody should be able to like be, uh, doing things at least the correct way. You might not be
Yes.
successful for other reasons, but everything's there now. Like we're in the information era. Like everything is just so
Mm-hmm.
easy to access. So utilize AI, know how to use it,
Yeah.
learn how to use it. Everybody, that's the way of the future for sure. Like everybody's gonna need to like know how to use it. Like that's gonna be the most valuable skill here, like right now
Mm-hmm.
and coming into the future.
Yeah. Yeah. I just now started implementing it as far as like planning and everything. Everything I got going on, and it's insane how much more like organized I feel now. Because usually the majority of my stuff is just off the top of my head, and I just do it, and it's it's definitely been helpful. Talking about building a brand in this world, how important is reputation in this industry?
It's the most important thing. Um, I think that, like, and I hate to say this, but there's like a lot of knockoffs now of Williams Key, like China started ripping it off and putting it on Amazon, and then other people on Amazon saw that, started ripping it off. So, um, but people still buy an official Williams Key because they like the brand, they like the quality, and they want to support a firefighter and a small
Mm-hmm.
business. Or yeah, maybe you can get one cheaper somewhere, but like, is it going to be as good? Probably not. Is it going to function? Yeah. Is it going to look as good? Is it
Yeah.
going to hold up? And like, I'm big on brand loyalty. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'm huge on that personally. So I like to believe other people might be too. And um, I've seen a decline in sales a little bit since like I started seeing like tons of ripoffs, but um, people, I still sell keys every day. Like people still come and want an official Williams key and stuff like that. And no matter how good your patent is or whatever, like China doesn't care. All these other countries don't care. Even if I got a Chinese patent, like they still wouldn't care. They still rip it off. So
Yeah.
it's like you can't really protect against that stuff. And once you get big enough, you're gonna get ripped off. Like iPhones get ripped off. Like everything gets ripped off.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Once it gets big enough and popular enough. But I'd rather buy an iPhone than a ripped off iPhone. You know, like I'm definitely want the quality and I'm loyal to the brand.
Yep. Yep. If you could start over your business, would you do anything differently?
Hmm. No, I don't think so. I'm not
That's
saying
good. That's a good
like
problem to have.
perfect, uh, but it's just been like a learning journey, and things have changed over the years. Maybe there's like certain marketing areas that I wasted money in
Mm-hmm.
that I wouldn't do that again because now I know it doesn't work. At least for me and for my product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to see what works for you and your business and your product, but certain things I've thrown some money at and it didn't work. So maybe those things I would do differently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to say the specifics because I don't want to discourage somebody from trying it as well, that it might work for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the only thing I
Um,
do different.
you said you've done multiple different products now. So this last question I want to talk about. So you get an idea and then it becomes a full-fledged product. Like what separates an idea from a product? What does that whole timeline look like?
All right. So you get your idea. And then you need to start looking up, like, is it already an idea, right? Did somebody already do this? And you'd be surprised the wazoo things people have come up with. But can you still pursue it? Can you make yours better? Can you make yours different? Did they get a patent on it? Did they have patent pending? How long ago was it? Uh, and then if you do want to start pursuing like a patent pending, that kind of protects you for a year while you figure out like if you want to invest in the whole patent process. But after a year, if you haven't started your patent, um, it's kind of like open market on your
Mm-hmm.
product now, and then people can decide, oh, I want to get a patent on that. So it kind of forces you to make a decision after a
Mm-hmm.
year. In the meantime, you'll see everybody has just like patent pending stuff, and it really doesn't mean anything. Like you can still copy it, but it kind of gives you like the first to market. It kind of documents that, and then yeah. So from there, you look at costs. Like how are you going to make this well and cheap, and what are your profit margins? So if you can figure out like, hey, I can make whatever this is for $10 and I can sell it for $100, you got great profit margins. Even if you can
Mm-hmm.
sell it for $20, you're making 100% profit on that. So you got to figure out like what the market will pay for it. So with the Williams key, I think I started at $20 and they were flying off the shelves and like I couldn't keep up with orders. So then I was like, oh, we'll do $25, and then did not slow
Mm-hmm.
the orders down. And then 30, I'm 40, I'm 45. So now I'm at
Yep.
$45 and people, still buy them. But that gives me more flexibility to like offer wholesale pricing for large departments or
Mm-hmm.
wholesalers, or run big sales and, stuff like that. So the more you can charge, the more flexible you can be with the sales, and more lucrative it is too.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think starting cheap and then increasing price is like the better way to do it versus starting expensive and being like, oh, people aren't buying it, let me charge less, and like you might have missed your window.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
that's it. Find a way to make it inexpensively, and if you can be hands off with it. Like my problem is I like to make stuff. Like I got a 3D printer. I've had 7 3D printers, 3 laser engravers. I like all the tech stuff. I have a
yeah.
big like space station here in my office with like 5 screens, and I have a server, and I fly drones. I do all. I like a lot of things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting distracted here. What were we talking about? Sorry.
Yeah.
um, oh, making stuff. Okay, yeah. So, with your product, if you can find a way where you're not making it yourself, that is way better. Like if you can pay
Mhm.
somebody to fabricate whatever this thing is, you don't want to be spending all your time, especially if you get a big order of like 1,000, or I've had a 10,000 key order before. If I
Oh,
were
wow.
making all those myself, I would have died. Like there's no way,
Yeah.
So, set yourself up for success to where you're not having to like be hands on with the product as much, and you'll live a better life for sure.
That's awesome. Well, that's the last question I had. Do you want to add anything?
No, like I've loved being on the show, and I've appreciated our time together, and I look forward to where the future leads. Hopefully, maybe we'll meet up one of these days next time you're
Yeah,
out in LA,
absolutely.
and love
Yeah,
to
heck yeah, man.
hang with you and all that stuff. So I wish you the best in your flourishing career as a
Thank you.
firefighter, as a podcaster, as an entrepreneur, all that stuff, as a husband, as a father,
I
all that.
appreciate it.
I wish you the
Appreciate it.
best. So
What's your website again for the people listening? Check it out.
williamskey.com. Yeah, easy to find on there. And then hit me up on social media as the Williams Key on Instagram. I'll respond to your message. You can email me, trevor@williamskey.com. Love to talk shop. Any questions you have. If you're having trouble with your key, like send me photos or videos of the door you're looking at. I can help talk you through it, or it might be time to break out the Halligan, So yeah,
Well,
it
that's
doesn't work on
awesome.
everybody, but when it does work, it's fast and efficient, and it doesn't
Yeah.
do any damage. So
Well, thank you, Trevor, for coming on. Everybody watching, thank you all so much. Make sure to tune in every other Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern for new episodes. If you want to be on the show, make sure to send me an email. I'll see you all the next time.